Good evening and welcome to the William T. Wallace Chapter of National Honor Society induction ceremony. Please stand. Gentlemen, please remove your hats and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may now be seated. I now ask Bailey to come forward to present your keynote speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker for tonight, Mrs. Justine Kramer. Mrs. Kramer attended Grand Valley State University as a biology major. She worked as a fire alarm inspector, firefighter, lab technician, and project coordinator prior to becoming a teacher. Justine has been married to her husband, Robert Kramer, for 18 years. Together they have 3 sons, Caleb, Carter, and Colton. After taking some time off to stay at home with her children, Mrs. Kramer rejoined the workforce as a substitute teacher in Hastings schools. This quickly led to her seeking her teaching certificate. She has been a full-time teacher in Hastings since 2019 and completed her master's degree in curriculum and instructional design in 2023. She is currently the science department chair teaching various courses. She's in her 5th year as the student council advisor and is involved in various committees within the district. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Kramer.
Thank you to the Hastings High School National Honor Society and Mrs. Warner for inviting me to be here this evening as your keynote speaker. I want to start by congratulating all the students being honored here this evening. I have the distinct privilege of seeing our students through 2 very different lenses, as a teacher in the classroom and as the student council advisor in the hallways, at events, and during planning meetings. Because of these 2 roles, I get a unique view of the students we are honoring tonight, and I can tell you their selection for this society is no accident. In the classroom, I get to see the scholarship, I see the hard work, I see the curiosity, the questions, and the studying that translates into a deep understanding of the material. I also know that being considered for induction takes much more than being a scholar. As the student council advisor, I get to see what happens outside the classroom. That's where I see the leadership and the service come to life. Leadership isn't just about having a title or speaking at an assembly. I see the leadership in the student who steps up to organize a committee, who stays late to clean up after the dance, or who makes a point to include a quieter student's idea in a group discussion. Service isn't just about logging hours. I see service in the student who notices a need in our community and does something about it without being asked and without expecting recognition. I see the students who don't just talk about making the school a better place, but who roll up their sleeves and do the hard work, the planning, the problem solving, and the executing that makes change actually happen. But the pillar that ties all of this together, the one I see in both of my roles, is character. Character is the foundation. It's what you do when you think no one is watching. It's the integrity to choose the right, harder path over the easy, wrong one. It's the empathy that fuels your service, the reliability that makes you a true leader, and the honesty that makes your scholarship meaningful. These students have proven that they can demonstrate good moral character and influence their peers in a positive manner. These leadership skills will directly benefit them and others well beyond their years here at Hastings High School. I know it's hard for you all to believe, but I was also a member of my high school National Honor Society. I have taken all of the important aspects from that time and brought them with me into the roles as a teacher, parent, wife, and community member. I urge you to continue to find ways to give back to your community even after graduation and NHS logging your hours. Volunteer at a food bank. Come serve some hot dogs with us at the Spirit Bus. Build a house with Habitat for Humanity. There's so many ways to give back to your community, and that should continue after these 4 years here are complete. I also hope that you go forward into the world being a leader, spreading positivity, and influencing others in a way that lifts them up. Go be a scholar, an athlete, a hard worker, or whatever you may choose, but do it with integrity, honesty, and positivity. I must also take a moment to congratulate the families here tonight. Your support, your encouragement, and your values are the foundation on which these students have built their success. Congratulations to this year's group of inductees on your accomplishments. Never stop trying. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kramer, Mrs. Heidi, Mrs. Warner, members of the faculty, parents, and students. Welcome to the 2025 National Honor Society induction ceremony. We are gathered here to formally recognize those students who have been selected by the faculty of our school for successfully completing their candidacy and are being inducted as new members of our NHS chapter. For current members and those former members who may be among our guests, we hope this will serve to remind you of the standards of excellence you too are charged with maintaining as members of the nation's oldest, largest, and most prestigious student recognition program. It is at this time that we proclaim to all in attendance that membership in the William T. Wallace chapter of the National Honor Society has been earned by these candidates through the effective demonstration of the 4 qualities that serve as standards for the society. Members of the chapter will now review these qualities for the candidates. First, we are going to have Ashlyn explain the significance of the candles you see before you.
The emblem of the National Honor Society contains a torch. The torch, which is a symbol of eternal light of knowledge, represents specific purposes that we as members of the NHS should strive to achieve. We should continue to move forward, searching for the light of truth. We should lead so that others may follow the light. We should keep the torch burning in our school for having a high ambition to endure the values of life, and we should serve. The central candle here is representative of the torch. The 4 other candles represent core values of NHS, which are scholarship, leadership, service, and character. As your candle is lit, think about how you can apply those core values to your life and how you can light the way and properly represent the National Honor Society as a whole. Now we will have Carter tell us about scholarship.
Scholarship. Scholarship denotes a commitment to learning. A real student is willing to spend hours in reading and study, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended, for human education ends only with the end of life. Knowledge is the one great element in life, which leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired only one way, through diligence and effort. Learning furnishes the lamp by which we read the past, the torch guiding us to understand the present, and the light which illuminates the future. Candidates have the charge to continually expand their world through opportunities inherent in scholarship. We will now have Bailey tell us about character.
Character is force within an individual that distinguishes each person from others. It creates for each of us our individuality, our goodness. It is that without which no one can respect oneself nor hope to attain the respect of others. It is the force of character that guides one through life and once developed steadily grows within. Character is achieved and not received. It is the product from constant thought and action, the daily striving to make the right choice. By demonstrating respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, fairness, empathy, and citizenship, we may hope to prove by example that we value character. We will now have Colin tell us about leadership.
Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school. In taking the initiative in class and school activities, the real leader strives to train and aid others to reach their common goals of success. The price of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interests for the interest of others. A leader has self-confidence and will go forward when others hesitate. No matter what power and resources may exist in a school, community, or nation, they are ineffectual without the guidance of a wise leader. Leadership is always needed. Thus, to lead is a meaningful and substantive charge to each of our members. We will now have Ashlyn tell us about service.
My office is service. Service can be established in the routine of the day's work where many opportunities arise to help others both at school and in the community. A willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without monetary compensation or public recognition is the quality we seek in our membership and promote for the entire student body. We are committed to volunteering our time and talents to the creation of a better tomorrow. I now ask Gracie to step forward and introduce our inductees.
Thank you, Ashlyn. Audience, please hold your applause until after the inductees have been introduced and have recited the pledge. Feel free to take pictures. Current members, please light your candles. New inductees, as your name is called, please step forward to receive your token of membership and to light your candle. Meredith Ansorge. Ellie Cousins. Shiloh Crandall. Matthew Domenico. Petra Foster. Reese Hammond. Sadie Hanford. Ethan Hawthorne. Sophia Haywood. Brissa Hernandez Hernandez. Ethan Holman. Caleb Kramer. Ava Patterson. William Renner IV. Madison Stora. Zakara Warner. Reagan Waddles. I now ask Bailey to step forward to lead the new inductees in reciting the pledge.
At this time, will the new inductees please raise your right hand and repeat the National Honor Society pledge after me. I pledge to uphold the high purposes of the National Honor Society to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands and will maintain and encourage the high standards of scholarship, of service, of leadership, and character. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of presenting to you the new and probationary members of the William T. Wallace chapter of the National Honor Society. Parents, now this is the time for a great photo opportunity. Everyone may now extinguish his or her candle to be seated. I now invite Carter and Colin to come forward and address the parents.
Dear senior parents, NHS would not be possible without the combined efforts of the parents and the scholars. On that note, it is only fair to give them the recognition they deserve. On behalf of the NHS, we would first and foremost like to thank the scholars who devote their time to the classroom, the school, and most importantly, the community. If it weren't for the members who go above and beyond, the NHS would not be possible. It is especially important to thank the seniors who decided to commit to excellence at a young age and follow that path, from volunteering and putting in the extra hour of studying. This is our way of giving back to the community and has guided us through our high school career and will continue to guide us on to the next level. This will be our last year before we leave and make our lasting imprint on another community. And there has been no doubt that this year will consist of hard work like the previous years.
While scholars make up the part of NHS that we see, it is important to thank those who work behind the curtains to make this organization possible. So thank you, parents, for supporting us through our years of high school, for getting us to our 7 a.m. meetings when we tell you the night before, for attending our events when it was not required, for pushing us to reach our potential, and for making sure we remember our commitments that always seem to slip from our minds. We can attribute a large part of our success to your helpful reminders and, most importantly, your unwavering support. The fact that so many of the parents show up exemplifies how strong your support is. So again, we would like to thank you on behalf of the NHS and all of its members. Lastly, our NHS President, Carissa, has some closing remarks.
I would like to thank our advisor, Mrs. Warner, and the members of the Induction Ceremony Committee for the hard work in organizing this year's induction ceremony. Please join me in thanking them with a round of applause. Thank you all for attending our NHS induction ceremony. In just a moment, the new inductees will recess, after which you are all invited to join us in the lobby for pictures. But before doing so, please join me once again in applauding all of our new NHS Society members. Thank you, and now will everyone please stand as our newest members of the NHS Honor Society recess.